Mute everybody, Mike. Not everybody's muted.
Okay. All right, guys. Welcome. Let me mute everybody, and then I'll unmute those who need to be unmuted. I pray that you guys are having a great Sunday. Guys, I had some really big breakthroughs in my life, spiritually, physically, emotionally, over the last couple months, but just in the last couple days, the last probably 5 days. I went to see a movie, and if you haven't seen it, I don't know if it's in Canada or not, for those of you that are from Canada. It's called Overcomer. It's just an amazing film. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's based on a true story, and it literally rocked my world. And I started. I'm not going to give you guys any of the movie, but you will do yourself an injustice if you do not go see the movies. I don't care if you like to go see the movies or not. Just go see it. And I can promise you, it probably won't be in the theaters long, because it is a faith-based film, and they're not in the theaters that long, which sucks, even when they're selling out. So I'm going to guess it's probably going to be in there 3 weeks, maybe 4. So it just started on the 23rd, which is just a couple of days ago. Lisa and I both went, and it was, I'm pulling her closer to me when she comes back. She says, no, sir. But I want to just tell you guys something. I have a new, with everything that's happened with us and with my coaching business, and things are really starting to come together big time. I don't want you over there. I want you over here. The camera. Too bad. I want you over here by me. Would you guys tell her to scoot over here? All right.
Lisa, I want you close to Mike.
Exactly. Come over here, please.
You smile more than he does on camera.
Ha ha ha. All right. So, I'm sharing a little bit about the movie, and about the book. To be honest with you, this chapter of the book. If you guys don't have the book, Lisa put the link for you to buy the book in the Freedom Fighters group. Guys, buy the book and give it to some people in your group. This book is dynamite, right? And John talks, and Tracy will go over it a little bit, about an environment of personal growth, and I really understand it now. Like, guys, I've been, and I'm just going to tell you guys, you guys know where my faith is. You know who I am and what I'm about. I don't hide that, but I just want to tell you, I've been praying for people and I found all these cards of people that I collected on the airplane over the last year. And I realized that I'd been selfish enough not to go back and follow up with all of them and share the information with them. So right after this call, I'm going to make a list of what I'm going to do over the next 30 days for both of our businesses, because we're in a crunch time. And I'll share with you guys some things when they happen in the next probably 7 to 10 days. Because I said this on my Facebook Live, and Tracy, I'm getting there. Just give me another minute or two. I said that, I was just, Lisa and I were just sharing with this before it came on, is that I learned more about faith and about who I am this past weekend, more than I ever have before. Do you see my phone? I don't see it. I was going to read something to you, but I'll read it when we get done. But I realized that I'm not the same person I was even a week ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago. And the better days of my relationship with people are ahead of me. I have a list of people that I'm going to go to and have conversations with, just because of what I learned yesterday in that movie. And I want to encourage you guys that the most important thing that you can do is build relationships with people and walk in complete forgiveness. People are watching. People are watching what you're doing. People are watching what you're saying. And many of you can grow your Life Vantage business the most you've ever grown it from now to the end of the year if you really want to. You can hit ranks. I'll share this last piece. I had a dream last night. I haven't even shared it with Lisa, about what's going to happen in the next coming months in both of our businesses. And it was God showing me how it's in my hands. He's entrusted me with it. And I was saying this about my accountant. My accountant was working, and he used this illustration with me and Lisa yesterday. And he thanked us for hanging in there with him, because we've made some massive investments with him in some things that haven't came to pass yet. But here's what he told us. He said, you guys have been giving and tithing more than any of my I was texting with him today. And he said he forgot to tell us some things, and we were talking about saying, so you guys have tithed more than anybody I know for the amount of money that you make. He said, you guys usually tithe between 25 and 30% of your income every single year. He said, and God is not going to forget that. And he said, I'm working on this project, and we're working, and some of the things he's doing is for us. And he said, I'm working on a project, and this here that I was working on turned into this. So think about it like this. He shared this. He said, M's turned into B's. You can fill in the blanks yourself. M's, as in money, M's, turned into B's. Okay? So never, ever, 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 ever give up on anything. And you know what really encouraged me about reading this chapter in the book about on growth is that it confirmed to me how crazy it is for the people who have left LifeVantage and tried to go do other things. And it was confirmed to me more in my dream last night and then in reading this chapter. So I am going to turn this over to Tracy, and I'm going to make Tracy stretch herself a little bit. I'm going to have her tell you guys a little bit about herself. We already know she's from Canada. Tracy has, I don't dare, and I know, Tracy, I got to ask you to turn on your camera. Hold on one second. And then I'll unmute you. Are you?
I muted myself.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So I don't believe for 1 second, I'm never going to say this, that Tracy, she's waving at you, trying to get you to look. I don't receive disease factors. Like, I believe that Tracy is healed of MS. I believe that she's in the healing process. And in our mouth, if we speak, oh, I have this or I have that, thoughts become things, and we manifest what's happening in our life. You don't have to believe me. God showed me that more and more over. So in your life, it's just like I've said to you guys, like, some weeks we'll have 12 people. Some weeks we'll have 30 people on this call. It's all about the people that are here, right? It's all about the people that are here. One of Carla Wilson's business partners, John Borger, I sent him my message that I preached at my church last Sunday. And he said he watched it like 2 or 3 times. And then he came back and he manifested in his life some of the things that I spoke, right? And so he said it encouraged him and charged him to move on. I mean, he lost his wife a little while ago, and just things have changed in how he's went through his life. But guys, we're overcomers. And that's one of the things that I took away from this movie. We are overcomers. And so Tracy was, right before we came on, she was talking about, she's happy, being able to walk. Well, I told her, I verbally said out of my mouth that she's going to run. And when I watched the movie Brian Banks last 2 weeks ago, I told you guys about the book As a Man Thinketh. It goes for women too. If you think you're just going to be a walker all your life, then that's all you're ever going to be. But if you think you're going to run, and you believe that you're healed, then you are. And that's what Lori just said, she will run. She is so determined. And so I asked Tracy to go over, I'm going to pull up the PDF while she talks. And Tracy, before you start talking, just share maybe a minute or two about, where you're from, your background a little bit. I know I can say one thing. She loves Mexico.
Well, I do. I do.
Yes, you do.
Well, I love Mexico. Okay, I'm Tracy Shudo, and as my last name is Shudo, that means you can see and this is not racial. I am not Japanese, but my husband is a gorgeous Japanese person, and we have one child, a beautiful, beautiful son. And he said to me at 9 years old, when we were in Calgary, and that's where I grew up, we were visiting my mother, and he stumbled, and Vans don't stumble. And I said, see, you are a Vanstone. And he looked at me at 9 years old and he said, Mom, I'm only 25% Vanstone and 75% Shudo. And he's 9. And I said, and how do you get that math, honey? And he goes, you're a Shudo, Daddy's a Shudo, and I'm a Shudo. So that makes me 75% Shudo and only 25% Vanstone. Anyway, that's just ha. Anyway, so I was raised in Alberta. I believe because of that, it has given me manners and the power to think outside the box that maybe people in other provinces or other places don't. I also know that I grew up in a family where I was always an out-of-the-box thinker, and I always knew in my mind. And I grew up in a very poor family, but my father was a multimillionaire and was an entrepreneur and designed 2 different things for the oil field in his life. So he was a very smart man. So I knew somewhere in my life things were going to be okay. And I've always reached and looked for other things. And sorry to use this word, Michael. And then I was diagnosed with MS just before my son turned 3. But I was told either I had an inner ear virus, a brain tumor, or MS. Thank God and praise the Lord, it wasn't a brain tumor. It was MS. That can be dealt with, and we have dealt with it. And we've always looked at it as a positive thing. My husband and I have never, ever, ever looked at this in a bad way. I've lost my vision 3 times in one eye, but it's come back every single time. And yes, right now, it's a little bit challenging for me to walk. But you know what? I have tools. And after 20 months, actually is this month 24, of biohacking my body, I feel like I am a 20-year-old on the inside. I feel better at 50, I'm going to say my age, at 56 on the inside than I did when I was 20. So yes, I am healing my body from the inside out. So I think that's enough about me and my history. Right, Mike? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, so what I did first when I offered to do this is, and I explained this on last Sunday, I don't know if my book is backwards, but I did get the book yesterday, but I had to order it online, and for some reason I had to order it because I live in Vancouver. It's close to go to the US to get parcels. I picked up the book yesterday afternoon, but I did the work and I watched the video. And so what I did is I took my notes. Look, Chris, I've got many pages too, but I took my notes on the video. And then I got the book in the afternoon and I started to look at the book and I'm like, the book's not like the video. I mean, the video.
It's good, isn't it, Tracy? The book is really, 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 really good.
It is, but so is the video because they're not the same.
It's totally different and it educates you and then you get more out of the book. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, you get different out of the book. I did like the video because I'm a visual kind of person. Anyway, so John Maxwell, Power of 5. On the video training, first there was a lady named Tracy, spelt different than mine. She spoke about being a multi-level marketing company and going and seeing John speak. She said she's seen him speak many, many times. And again, I believe most, if not all the people on this call have been in the business for a while. So more than one of us have gone to see speakers, have gone to events, and we do take notes. And so we should. Now, and she said she always did. And what she did is she always brought her notebook home and she put it on her coffee table because she said to herself, I know these notes are great. I'm going to have to review them. But we all know that life gets in the way. And 9 times out of 10, she never reviewed her notes. And by doing that, it wasn't positive. But what she learned from John and what John does teach in this book, and in actually the last page of the book, is a thing called A as in apple, C as in cat, T as in Tracy, ACT. A stands for apply, C stands for change, T stands for teach. So what John says and what Tracy said after she learned this from John is she went back over her notes or any notes she's ever taken in the future as she's taking the notes, and she's thinking, oh, I need to act on that. So she puts an A beside that note as she's writing that paragraph. And John suggests you do that in the margin of a book you're reading or notes as you're writing them. That is something I learned, and that is something I'm going to start doing myself. And T, okay, so A is for apply. After writing notes, we need to remind to put something into action, to apply something. C is for things you need to change. And as perfect as we all are, all of us can do just a tweak of a change. T is for teach. Teach yourself first. If you don't teach and grow yourself first, how can you help others? You can't. And others will not follow you if you can't help them. And others, I've always said to people that I have shown this business to, my goal is for you to make money before I make money. That is my goal. But I can't do that unless I know how to teach them to do that. So that's what I got from the first part of just Tracy being in the video. And then she introduced John. And then John came on. Well, John is a very powerful speaker. And he's a really, really funny man to watch. And I like listening to him. I like the last part where he spoke about his grandchildren. Again, this is not in the book, but this is on the video. He talks about his grandchildren. And what John said that really resonated with me is, sorry, I made notes and then I made new notes. Just a second.
Hey guys, if you want, take screenshots of this stuff. I don't know if everybody knows how to do that on their own thing, but as Tracy's looking for this, I want to add one piece to this really cool thing is that she's looking for this. John said something in this part where Tracy's talking about where he said something that his father told him.
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Oh, you are? Okay. All right.
Or maybe it's another one, but yeah, there's two parts his father said.
Okay, I'll share this, and then if you want, you can go. It says, it's just a sentence. It says, John said his dad told him, he graduated from college, and dad said, John, if you want to be successful in life, do three things: value people, believe in people, efficiently love people. I love that. I mean, just write those three things down. If you can do these three things, be super successful in life. Value people, believe in people, and unconditionally love people. I love that.
And that wasn't in the video, but there was something else that his father said to him. So I found my page 2.
Awesome.
So John said when he was young, he thought everything mattered. Everything. And he went on to say that, when they were having children, they were always looking at other people going, well, so this matters. We have to give our kids the right food, the right whatever. And he goes, now that I'm a grandparent, my grandchild asks for a hot dog and a popsicle or an ice cream. He goes, I just give it to him. He said, because you know what? It really doesn't matter. But again, these are things we learn as we progress in life, as long as we're still learning and growing. And I'll get to that when he talks about that. So he said there are 5 things that really matter. And he said, you can bank on it. And he knows it does matter. Number 1, 111, big letters, growth. Growth matters. It just does. His mentor asked him when he was young, he said, what are your plans for growth, John? John didn't have a plan. He didn't know he needed one. He didn't even know what a plan for growth even was. Again, this was when he was 20. And his mentor said, personal growth is not automatic. It just doesn't happen. To grow, you must be intentional. Who on this thing that you can see is one of the most intentional people in the world? I would say his initials are MH. Thank you very much. And I have learned that from Michael. He said he would have to write. He woke up one day later, and he just said, I have to write 15 laws of growth. And he did. He got up at 3 o'clock in the morning and wrote 15 chapters on a heading of the 15 things that you need to grow. And he goes, and don't ask me what they are. He said, go buy my book. Read the book. I found that quite amusing.
And Tracy, I'm not sure if you knew this, but LifeVantage had John come and teach the 15 laws of growth. I think it was right before you joined. So
probably, because I haven't.
Yeah, they did 15 laws of growth for LifeVantage, and he came and taught 3 different times and taught all 15 laws.
Perfect. And then he looked at the audience and he said, if he would and could speak to any one of us or any one of the people in the group on a one-to-one, he would come down and talk to each person, and he would ask each of us 2 questions. 2. The 2 questions that he would ask would determine how you answered these 2 questions would determine the success of your business. Number 1, and I'm sorry, Chris, you were really good at looking at the camera. I'm reading from notes, sorry. Okay, number 1.
You're doing fine, Tracy.
Number 1, the first question he asks are, what are you doing to grow yourself? And then I've got a line. This is the first. He said this is the first because if you cannot give what you have not done or what you do not have. You have to increase your compassionate to increase your capacity to increase the capacity of your team. When you get better, your people will get better. You're the lid. So if you're closing yourself down and not growing, your team will not grow. And then the second one is, what are you doing to grow others? And again, that all goes back to learning. Learn and then share and teach. And then he said, and then he got off track, and he's really cool on the video. Again, the book, like blah, blah, blah. He all of a sudden said, growth matters. And he said, he started talking about Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood was on 80 or 90 years old, and he was on a golf course with Toby Keith, and all of a sudden Clint said, well, I gotta leave, I gotta go. And Toby Keith said, well, why are you leaving? He goes, well, I'm producing another movie. And Toby Keith said, well, you're old, and haven't you made enough movies, and haven't you done enough stuff? And Clint Eastwood looked at him and said, I don't let the old man in. I do not pretend to be old. I don't associate with old people. I'm not old. And so Toby Keith then wrote a song, Don't Let the Old Man In. And John Maxwell said he listens to that song often. Okay, so number 1, growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to get better. Okay? 2, growth means change. And I put here, we're all in favor of change as long as, well, he said, we're all in favor of change as long as it's not us. And then I put in brackets, people I know are happy living out there in what I call their rut in life. Don't get me wrong, I was there more than once and more for a longer time than I'd like to admit. But to get out of my rut, to move myself out of my rut, which I have done in the last 2 years and more so since Kansas City, I am becoming a better person, a happier person, and a healthier person. So I am not going to let my number of the years that I'm alive dictate who I spend time with or what I do or the actions I do. John said he thought leaders like change and followers do not. And he said, that's not true, because leaders don't really like to change either. Change is hard for everybody. Everybody. This is my page 3. Here. Okay. Okay. Change means learning and unlearning, relearning. And that's why if you're doing something today that you did 5 years ago in your business, you're probably missing the greatness of your business opportunity. So I'm not doing the same things I did 2 months ago. I made a conscious choice to make a change and grow and move forward. Okay. Possibility, probably missing the greatest of ideas. Sorry. Number 3, growth questions about learning. 1, what did you know today that you didn't know yesterday? Okay. Every day, John could be asked that question and give somebody a new answer, because he learns every day, as we all should. 2, what did you let go today that you held on to yesterday? So what are you letting go of? Because if you're not letting go of something, you can't go on to something else. Again, it's that rut thing. And we all have to realize life is busy, but you know what? We're important too. So, and then 3, what am I changing today that I did yesterday? Again, every day you need to make a change and grow. At 17, John's father asked him what he wanted to be or do in his life. He said to his father, I want to be a speaker. And his father looked at him and said, John, every day you need to read and you need to file. Every day. John did that every single day. This is now getting towards the end of the video. All of a sudden, John looked at his life 50 years later after working and thought, I'm not growing. So he sat there and he didn't tell his family. He said, because if I would have told my family, they would have said, no, don't do that. He said he had 4 file cabinets of over 18,000 files. And he decided, it took him months, but he decided, he called up Fellman from the condo and he said, I'm going to leave for 2 hours and I want those file cabinets gone. I don't want you to tell me where you're taking them. I don't know what you're telling me what you're doing with them, but I want them gone. He came back in 2 hours and they were gone. He said, then he sat where those file cabinets were and cried for 30 minutes. And he said, though, I let go of 45 years of files. Why? Because I can't get in tomorrow. I can't get into tomorrow if I am holding on to yesterday. The next 5 years have been his most creative because he does not have those files to depend on. He has to now dig deep, think, ask new questions, go to meet new people, get new illustrations, new thoughts, and new quotes. The only guarantee tomorrow is going to get any better is if you're growing today. After he removed the files, he wrote, and I stopped my video constantly so I could write this down, because again, it's not in the book. Sorry, great book. He wrote, if we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we're not really living. Growing demands, okay, I can't read my own right, a tendency to surrender and scrutiny. It may mean giving up a familiar but limiting patterns, safe but unrewarding work benefits. We no longer believe in relationships that have lost their meaning. Now, I'm having a challenge with that in my life. There's people in my life that have been there my whole entire life, but you know what? They're trashing me. They're trashing what I'm doing. So you know what? I'm not going to tell them they're wrong. I'm not going to say to them, I'm not going to see you anymore, but I'm not going to go out of my way to try and make them happy. I'm going to do what Tracy needs to do. Okay. So on the PDF, I've got the answer for number 1 is guarantee. The second answer was better. Number 2, growth means change. The underlying word you needed to know was no. The next word that you needed to know was you, today that you didn't yesterday.
Yeah.
And then
I filled it out for him.
Oh, okay, you filled that in.
Yeah, I filled it out for him and I told him to copy it.
Okay. So that was basically the video. And then I did look at the book, and I mean, the book is amazing. I mean, he's got, and again, if you don't have the book, and there is a way that if people want to get together, you can buy 18 or 15 books and then share them with people.
I put that link in the Freedom Fighters thing right.
Okay.
For books.
But there is 1 to 10 different chapters, and it is about growth. It is about things that you need to do. I don't know if you want me to use the headings tell the headings on each of them, Mike.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
You don't have to go into that deep, but I just want, what I want people to do is I want people to get the book. Because let me explain something to you guys. Lisa and I have boxes of books. Boxes and boxes of books. And we're getting ready to give away a ton of books, right? And I look at her. And because other people need to read books that they can buy for cheaper, right? But this book right here is golden. I've read probably 20 of John's books. This is a summation of how it relates to what we're doing in our life, how it relates to network marketing, how it relates to relationships. Guys, this right here, I taught this in Kansas City at Life Fantasy Academy about how important this book was. And so I think Tracy did a great job of sharing that piece. You did phenomenal job of that piece.
Can I just say one more thing? And I don't know if I'm going over time. The only thing on this, and if you tell me, I didn't get your whole call, I got part of it. On page 28, the biggest thing I wanted to say is number 10, growth is modeled and expected. People do what people see, Ben Franklin said. Yep. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. I would be able to add to this quote, says John. Show me and I will follow. Empower me and I will grow. Most things in life are more caught than taught. To get ready to play catch. And then it gives like 8 things on organizing, provides you and places where you will.
That's on page, guys, that's on page 28 if you can see it in the book. So guys, if you haven't got the book, I think Tracy is happy she got the book.
I am.
because it is so. It's all, and it's just, guys. It's a short read. It's like 90 pages, right? And it's packed with action. And when Jenny Crane was telling me about it, I was like, I've read so many of John's books. Like, there's and then with network marketing, there's GoPro, and there's all these other books. So what I'm going to do is Tracy, thank you again. You did.
You're going to change subjects, honestly.
No, I'm going to talk. We're going to go on. I was going to ask for some people if they had some comments or some questions. Tracy, you did great. All the comments down here and nerds say you did great.
Oh, I couldn't read anything because I was reading from my script, so sorry.
That's okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, but thank you guys for letting me share, and I'll mute myself.
No, you did great. So, guys, I pray that you've done this study. How many people, if you guys took something away from this that you'd like to share right now, let's take just a couple people. Unmute yourself and just share something that you did. Because, guys, this stuff is so powerful. If you implement this in your life, not only will it change the way you do business, it'll change the way you do life. Trust me, this mindset and connection. I see why John was so super excited when I watched the special live launch of this book, and you can't buy it on his website or anywhere else. You have to go to a special spot to buy it still, and I think there'll be a launch in September when he'll make it open to the public. You guys get it now, and you have to go to a special site to order. You can't order on his Amazon. You can't order on his website. There's just a lot of stuff. So does anybody want to unmute and make a comment? I know Lisa does, but let's see if somebody else maybe wants to go first and make a comment and share something that you learned out of this book that you may want to share with us. Or maybe you learned out of the video. Anybody? This will show me if anybody knows who did it and who didn't. Anybody want to share? Don't be scared.
Come on, Chris, I'm challenging you.
There's a lot of people on here. All right, I'm going to let my wife share, and then if somebody else wants to share, they can. Guys, the only way you grow is by doing this stuff and then sharing with other people. I'm just telling you, guys, go back and do the studies. Go back and invest in yourself. It doesn't take that long. I did this one in 30 minutes with the video and then reading the book. The book took about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay? You guys know I'm in 75. Tomorrow is day 78 of 90. And I've been reading 30 minutes to an hour every day. So I'll let my wife share.
What I wanted to share was when the video in which Tracy was talking about, growth needs change, learn, unlearn, and then relearn. I found it rather interesting, and now as I was thinking about it, very true actually. He said the average college degree has a shelf life of 5 years. 5 years, because what you learned is no longer applicable. And as I started thinking about, our industry and our technology and, LifeVantage and biohacking and cell phones and computers, that probably is even too long, to be honest.
It is.
It's like those degrees probably have a shelf life of maybe 3 to 5 years only because of how much things change. It completely blew my mind when he said that. And, just in our industry, in health and wellness, think about it. That
and we'll think about that.
Away.
And here's what's really cool about what we have. We have guys, I've never in my history of my career taken products that have patents. Never. I've been doing this for 25 years, guys. I've had every opportunity to make my own supplements, and we could make a fortune now with what's happening in the next couple months. So, guys, here's a prime example. You go online and read the reviews on this book right here that John wrote. I read this book in my 20s, Developing the Leader Within You. This is 2.0. And John said, well, I'm not the same person I was 40 years ago. A different leader. So I'm so glad that at least 3 of us, my wife and I and Tracy, got something good out of this book. Come on, who else got something good out of it that they want to share? Or maybe something that Tracy shared that you're going to implement that because I did I'm going to share this, and I'll just tell you what, guys, the part that I'm going to share on this is I'm going to share, and I'll show this, guys. If you didn't see my Facebook Live, I did the part from the book talking about how to stay in an environment of personal growth, and I won't go over all 10 of them, but I'll go over 3 of them. One was make sure that others are ahead of you. Number 2, make sure that you are continually challenged.
That's easy.
And exactly, everything is uphill, is worthy, is worthwhile, is uphill. Number 3, your focus is forward, not looking back, the things that are behind us. And John says, I love this. Listen to this, guys. He said, when you're moving forward, there are a lot of distractions and distractors. You will note when you look back, you will see your complacent friends who want you to stay the same. Guys, take this to heart. He said, to your left are the shiny objects that look good but offer little substance, like leaving this company for another company. Okay? To your right are people who leave thinking the grass is greener on the other side. Keep your head straight and continue moving forward. Running, not walking. Okay? And then he said, like Nehemiah said to his distractors, I am building a wall, I cannot come down. You are not leaving something, you are going to something. He said, I've never known a person who kept looking back at yesterday to build a better tomorrow. Yesterday ended last night. Let it go. And I love this. He said, make sure tomorrow that when you wake up, that you're excited. I know some of you have tough jobs. Some of you, it's challenging. But guys, constantly stay active. Laura Lee was telling me this last week, what all the stuff that's transpired with her upline and stuff, and how, she made a lot of mistakes in growing this business. I said, shoot, made Pro 8 in 24 months and you never did this before. 80% of your people you signed up were online. Guys, in Kansas City, Erica Dale, who was the only, I'm just going to say this to you guys, and you can believe what you want, but all of the new Pro 7s and Pro 8s that were announced in Kansas City all came from building depth, except for one, Erica Dale. So it came out of Team Heart. Just letting you guys know, consistency. There's a reason why consistency at pressing in and doing the things that we know we need to do. I'm starting over. I'm going to go get a whole brand new 50 people. I've enrolled close to between 40 and 50 people. I'm going to go get 50 more. Marcel just says, go get 5 more. I'm going to go get 50 more. You can hold me to it because I'm going to do it. So does anybody else want to share something, maybe something that's been on their heart? Maybe they've had a breakthrough. Maybe they've had a rose or a thorn or something that they feel that they want to share. We have about 10 minutes left. So who wants to share? Anybody want to unmute and share? Just unmute and share, guys. Don't be scared. We have 17 people on here. Nobody wants to share a win or a loss this week or something that they're going to do different than they did last week? I'm okay if you don't.
Okay, so Vancouver is having another LifeVantage event on Vancouver Island. And if you guys haven't heard me mention, there is no bridge from Vancouver to Vancouver Island. You have to take a ferry boat, and it costs almost $100 each way.
Or a plane.
Yeah, well, and that costs for sure over $100 each way.
Yep.
Well,
Or swim.
Yeah, ha, 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 Chris. Yeah, you come over and try. Good luck. Anyway, remember I said I'm going to get out of my comfort zone? Well, I was with my friend yesterday. I asked her to go down to the States with me. She knows I'm in this business, but I've never really talked to her about it a lot. She hates her job. She's diabetic and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I looked at her in the car, and I said, you know, Jen, I've never really talked to you about this, but you know what? There's going to be this Dr. Brent Brimhall's coming to Victoria or Nanaimo. And I said, and this amazing speaker that I've only ever heard of talk in front of 4,000 other people is coming to Nanaimo. I said, are you free that Saturday to come with me? I said, what my goal is for that event is to have at least, well, three other people with me. Well, I should be doing 5. But I know 2 people that live on the island, and I know that hopefully my friend Jen will come in the car with me and go with me. And so that's, again, every day, you guys, I'm growing every day, and every day I'm talking to new people and stretching. Yes, sir.
Stretch yourself. Take 5 people, Tracy.
Well, let's aim for 10 and then take 5.
There you go. Have a party. Anybody else? I'm going to try to do 15 presentations this week. I don't know if a lot of you guys knew, but my live event, Brett Brimhall is speaking at my live event with us. He's the only doctor that I'm having. And a lot of good things are happening with my live event this week. This is going to be a good week. This is 2 weeks going to be super happy. I just want to say, I know she's not on here tonight, but she's been on here before. I just want to give a large shout out to our friend Jane Stanley, who has been an amazing blessing to us. Like, she is working like 30 hours a week, volunteering her time to help my wife. And it's been a guys, pray and obey. That's all you have to do. And God knows what you need when you need it. Remember, I about my accountant worked on this little project that became super big. You guys are all faithful with a little, bigger. Tracy, where is that event in Vancouver Island? Is it on Big Blue calendar? Tracy, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just did. I'll pull up Big Blue and I'll see if it is.
If not, put it in Freedom Fighters. Put it on the Freedom Fighters page if you find it before the end of the night.
Well, I know it's posted on Team True Blue Vancouver site, like Vancouver Island.
Just put it in the group. Just copy and paste it and put it in the Freedom Fighters group.
If I can, I will. Yes, sir.
You can.
Well, do I know how to do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Simple. You did all of what you just did.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. If it's a closed group, it's a little more challenging.
In that case, I typically will just do a screenshot of it on my phone. And then
I think it might have been shared to me on a messenger, so so then I can share it. But again, so yeah, I will look on the Big Blue calendar, but awesome. I'll let you guys know and I will post it.
Awesome.
Michael.
Yes.
Hello.
Beth.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you all?
Good. Go ahead.
My experience for about 2 weeks now after my parents go back to the Philippines and I go back again. So what I heard is to overcome the fear of talking to people, do not focus on one customer or prospect or future business partner. Do not focus. Think about how you share. If it doesn't work, do not do it again. That means something wrong with it. Just keep sharing so that you can overcome your fear. And before, I have a lot of this. And I said to myself, what I have to do. And I learned to myself that the reason why I am scared to share is because I don't know what I'm gonna say. So I said I need to study, not really the information on my products. You don't have to be genius. Just a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and use your third party videos, your upline, your sidelines. And then do not focus on one. If you got hurt of the result, that means you are not talking many people.
Enough people. Yep, absolutely.
Just keep going.
I
Yeah.
want to encourage you because I've seen, like, out of everybody in my organization, the most radical change of anybody has been in Beth. And her husband and I were talking about this week about how she went from this really shy, closed off person to this massively talking and relationship building and going back and following up with people and signing people up on a regular basis and just moving forward. And so, good job.
And one thing more, I am now more involving with other community, Filipinos, then really I have a positive result. Detach your emotions was the result. As long as you share, do not be looks like a genius. That's all.
Good job. Good job. Thanks for sharing.
Hey, Mike.
Speaking, oh, sorry, Chris.
Sorry.
No,
Oh, no,
sorry,
I just wanted to tell a funny story about how some people who are non-believers that actually helped me get a really high level prospect. We did this massive sale blitz a couple of weeks ago in just south of Detroit. And it was with me, my regional coordinator, and my district manager. And after we were done, our regional vice president said, "Hey, you guys did such a phenomenal job. Let's go play 9 holes on me. It's around the corner from my house." And I said, "Great." So after I got done whipping them in golf, we went to dinner, and we walked in. We were sitting there talking, and they said to the waitress, "How old do you think that guy is?" Because they always think it's funny that everyone thinks I'm about 32, 33 when I'm 42. And my RVP is like, "Yeah, he's going to be a millionaire. He's got this yellow pill. It makes people young and it takes off aging." And she's like, "Oh, I could definitely use that." And I could tell she has a different background. She's from Chicago, but originally from Mexico. And she's got a lot of family in Chicago and Mexico. So she starts talking to me. And as they leave, I said to her, "Hey, do you really seem interested in this? And do you really seem interested in opportunity?" She goes, "Absolutely. I'm looking for something to find me. This is not what I want to do with my life, but I don't really want to go back to school." Long story short, she gave me her phone number, and we're meeting this week at a coffee place. All because someone was ripping me about what I'm doing, and it may lead into potentially a really good distributor. It's amazing.
That's the power. That's the power of what my friend George Bryant said, that relationships beat algorithms. Building, even when somebody, it's like you always think, it's like Chris and I talk about this all the time, like, oh, we get somebody signed up and we think they're going to be great. Like, I have 2 people out of the last, I talked to Fred about this, out of the last 14 people I signed up in the last year, I have 2 people that are really engaged, right? And it makes sense, right? Like, and guys, you know why this book makes so much sense? Because people aren't doing it. People aren't doing this in their personal lives. I have a friend of mine that I know that was in this, that I signed up in this business, that I know could freaking crush this business. His name's Evan Pomerantz. He could freaking kill this business. But my wife is just about to fall down because she's not paying attention to what she's doing the rest of my life. But that's the moral of it. People are unwilling to continue to build relationships. Guys, I just want to tell you this. There are so many people that are joining this company right now that if you guys aren't out there signing people up, you're doing something wrong. I have people coming to me and saying, "Hey, when are you going to share with me this? I'll share this story with you right here." So this is a girl named Beth. Don't you guys be screenshotting this prospect. So she's sat beside me. She works for a neuroradiology company. So I texted Sean McKee, and she's in Ireland. She's coming back this week. She said, "I'll share it with her." You guys, Sean's freaking crushing it. She's going to be out of her medical career in no time, right? And she said, "I need something besides this. So unstable," right? And she can see she's got a degree. And we just talked, and it was really interesting. And then that was my flight to Nashville. And on my flight from Nashville home, I met this other lady named Joanne Schoenhart, whose husband passed away about 1.5 years ago, who was a chiropractor. And she's like, Michael, I'm just bored. Like I really would like to have something to do. She goes, I'd like it to be where I can meet people and travel and do this. I said, I got something perfect for you. I said, look, it may not even be for you, but from what you just said, I'm not going to take the opportunity. I said, how about if we sit down and talk about it? She goes, do you know I talked to her about investments and stuff, and I just built a relationship with her. And man, she's the nicest lady in the world. She texted me and said, hey, when can we talk? And so I'm going to talk with her this week before we leave, right? So I signed up a couple Vitality Stacks this week. So guys, it's all about relationships. Okay, it's all about relationships. The more you guys build relationships with people, I had some of the most amazing phone calls this week with people, and I just jumped on phone calls with them and just got to know them really well. One guy lives in Northern Europe because his wife has a visa, and he's the most awesome guy. He's a health coach. His name is Nick O'Connor. He's like, Mike, I want the products. I was like, dude, we're not in your country. He's like, well, I'm coming back to the States to come to your live event. I said, and you can get as much product as you want. Take it back with you. When you go back for 6 months, and you can still be a distributor because you can build here. And he goes, Mike, I've got almost 90% of my clients are in the United States. I said, that's why you got to bring him to my live event. So guys, just constantly be building relationships and do what Beth said. Don't focus on one person. Keep going. Fred told me that Beth is talking to this person and talking to that person and talking to that person, having this person over to dinner and going to meet this person and going and standing and talking to people. She would have never done that a year ago. Didn't even like Life Vantage. They've been taking Life Vantage products for like 5 or 6 years, and so she can tell you that. So guys, I love you guys. I'm going to stop the recording.